Vradikachari Asto Prasat System of the Divine Grace is Confanchari Jira Bhashan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Papa Maharaj Ki Ananta Kochi Vaishnavi Ki Namacharya Sri Haridasa Guru Ki Ram Sri Kahal Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakti Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kunda Girivardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sri Mayapana Dham Sri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Gangamaya Yamunamaya Ki Jai Srimati Tosa Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakti Devi Ki Jai ISKCON Philadelphia Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Krishna Marathon Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution December Marathon Ki Jai All glories to the Son. All glories to the Son. All glories to the Son. All glories to Sissy Gaura and Gaura.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
We have a special guest speaker with us today. His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj. Maharaj, he doesn't come to Philadelphia very often. I think the last time he was here, I calculated, was over 6 years ago. And we're very happy to have him back again with us. I'll say a few words of introduction about Maharaj. He joined ISKCON, the Hare Krishna movement, in 1984 in Nigeria. In the early days of the movement in West Africa, Maharaj pioneered and took part in many of the projects that helped develop the Hare Krishna movement in that area, in that region of the world. He took sannyas initiation. So before I say that, he's a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He took sannyas initiation from His Holiness Jagapataka Swami Maharaj in 2009. Since then, he's been traveling more extensively. He mentors many young devotees in both their devotional and professional pursuits, as they manage to spread Krishna consciousness in many different areas, in their areas of expertise. Worth mentioning, Maharaj is a scholar. He is globally renowned. As a scholar, he's published over 35 articles in scholastic publications. Specifically, he focuses on areas of presenting Vaishnava Vedantist philosophy to an intellectual community, getting them to understand the problems to a lot of the socio and economic issues that we deal with, have spiritual solutions. He travels and attends global conferences. In addition to doing publications, he travels and presents this at many conferences around the globe. So we're extremely happy to have Maharaj back with us here in Philadelphia. He's going to preach to us tonight, explain to us some of the important parts of our philosophy. I want to ask everybody to come a little bit closer, and those especially in the back, come forward a little bit. We're going to be expecting some people to come. We want to make sure that there's room for them. And please, if you have your cell phones, if they're not off, at least take them down to vibrate. You want to give our full attention to Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So, We're happy to be back to ISKCON Philadelphia after a couple of years. And we just came in from Delaware. I was coming from New York, and then some devotees said, "Oh, we should come to Delaware." So we went there. So after finishing the Sunday class there, so then we drove here. I was just telling Jordan that next time when I come, I plan on staying for some days. But today, after the class, I'll be going back to New York. So this period are basically all over the world. This is the time that we intensify our efforts towards spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Srila Prabhupada has come to the West to be able to establish. And so technically we say it's a Christmas marathon. Why is it Christmas marathon? Because Christmas period is that setting where people are winding up their professional obligations, or in terms of their jobs. They're trying to round up all the things they're doing. And they're also planning to utilize the resources they've gathered over the year to invest it for some enjoyment purposes. And so within this period, the people are really setting out agendas for exploiting the resources of material nature. So the marathon is like an intervention. Okay, you're trying to set aside so much money for your enjoyment. Also invest in your spiritual development. So the devotees, they come, instead of bolstering the exploitation tendency of the jiva or the conditioned soul, here the devotee comes like an interventionist to say, hey, you have so much of intoxication to take for this December, and then culminating on December 25. So here are transcendental books that will help you to elevate your consciousness. This is the whole idea of the Christmas marathon. It's a period when we intensify our efforts in spreading Lord Chaitanya's mission. This is a very simple month. And I remember when I was in Africa, these ember months, September, October, November, December, they're just deadly months. You see the worst accidents happen within this period. And that's why people jubilate when they live up to January 1st. And on January 1st, they take so much of vows. They make so much of resolutions especially about their bad habits, how they shouldn't go back to the sinful life. But then there are dissolutions of those dissolutions. So we spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya Prabhupada by distributing these books intensively during this period, so that people who have set aside so much money to wait for sinful involvement, they could also benefit from the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from this knowledge that Prabhupada is spreading through his books and through his agencies. It is being spread all over the world. But then the point is that, we have to know that this movement is built on distributing this knowledge. So those of you who are participating in the marathon, it is so important for you to have that spirit of awareness
sense of you are going out as soldiers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be able to distribute the message. But then the point also is that Prabhupada had emphasized that distribute my books, distribute my books, distribute my books. Antithetically, the connotation also implies that. Yeah, because you can't give something, and you can't give a good or a product to somebody if you're a marketer. You can advertise a product to somebody, and then the customer or the prospective customer comes to ask some questions. How does this work? And you say, I don't know. So we have to understand the content of these books. That's why we need to read Prabhupada's book. Prabhupada also mentioned that for you to become an effective book distributor, you have to know the content of my book. You have to read my books. If you don't read it, it's not good. Your attempt to distribute these books will not be effective. You will not have the potency to do it. And keep in mind, Narayana, in the conversation with Lakshmi in the Gita Mahatmya, Narayana mentioned that the Gita is not different from him. In other words, the Gita is not different from Krishna. And so when we are distributing the books, especially we are distributing the Gita, we should understand that we are distributing Krishna. We are giving Krishna in the manifestation of the book Bhagavad. I mean, it's like we go to install a deity in someone's home. We've done a great job. But how the person maintains the deity, that is another step forward. So, it's encouraging that our devotees are distributing books, especially during this period. And then the emphasis of Prabhupada is that we should read his books. I remember when I joined this movement over 30 years ago, my spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Swami, the late Srila Bhakti Swami Maharaj, he would tell us that, hey, read the books. And one of the reasons is that not just having the knowledge of the Vedic understanding, read the books. He would say, read the books so that you don't get cheated by anyone. Because the point here is that if someone is deviating, he could start speaking apaccidental. Apaccidental means something that is not based on Guru Sadhu Sastra. If someone is not following, he could be a very good preacher, but if he's deviating, you could also deviate by dint of your preaching. And therefore, if we read the books, we'll be able to help many people. If someone says something, I mean, I remember when I was at the Brahmachari in New Jersey, and people say something, and then I was in the habit of, if someone says something interesting, I want to make a reference to that in writing. But then so, making a reference to that means I will be humbly requesting for a reference. So I will say, yeah, Prabhupada, what you said is so nice. Can I have the reference so that I can use it for my writing? And then sometimes the devotees that tell me, oh, you bring all the type of scholarly things into a devotional service. I mean, why don't you just accept? I said, yeah, accept, but I need some reference. So I remember recently I was at Airy Temple a few months ago. I was giving some classes. So I remember what, this Swami who did some translation, some audio books on Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gita. What's his name? Yeah. From yeah. And so I remember one devotee was giving a class. He's very embarrassing because I was talking about this same point about referencing. So this devotee gave a nice story and all this, and then this family asking that we need a reference. But sometimes, people don't want to hear that. But we're trying to be Vedantis, so yes, there's a need for reference. So Prabhupada's books, they form a very good groundwork for all type of references, all type of things that we may want to bring to the foreground, to share with people. We should, freely be able to do that. Now, the other point is that if we read the books, we'll be abreast with the content of the literature. And so when we are distributing this literature to someone, we can really speak through the literature. It's like you go to a conference, you've researched on some particular subject matter, and then you have written some 30 pages of work, research work. You don't go there and carry a paper and start reading. There's a language we use, it's talk to your paper. Talk to your paper. In other words, you wrote this work, you researched it, you tell us what you have done, what is the content of that? Tell us in 15 minutes or in 20 minutes. You wrote it, you researched it, it's your work. So when we read the books, we'll be able to talk to the books. In a few minutes, we can tell somebody about the content of the book. And that will be so convincing. The person will take it because that will impact on a person. That is devotional scholarship. And this is one of the major principles why Prabhupada wanted us to read his books, so that we can talk to the books when we're speaking to someone. And therefore, 2 points I've mentioned to be able to exhibit that type of Vedic wisdom when we talk to someone and have a great impact on them, to take the book. Second point is that we become purified when we read the books, because the books are not different. The Vedic literature or Bhagavad-gita, for instance, is not different from Krishna. It's like when you go to the altar to do the puja, when you're reading these books, you are doing puja. You're becoming purified. And so, who here doesn't want to become purified? I don't want to be purified. Raise up your hand. I don't think anybody will do that. Everybody wants to be purified. So everybody should read Prabhupada's books. Why not? We should read books every day. I remember Renamala gave a class at Bhakti Temple just the other Sunday. And then, he was mentioning, I was listening to Prabhupada's tape, and this is what he said, this is what he said. I listen to Prabhupada's tapes every day. Maybe like 1 hour or 45 minutes or so. If I'm eating, I'm listening. I'm in the kitchen doing something, I'm listening. Oh yeah. Why? We have to connect with Prabhupada. That's our power source. Is it gone? Is it magnet? Is it glue? When you get tied up to the spiritual master, you have the strength. And therefore, it's so important even when you're doing your japa, put on Prabhupada's tape and chant along with Prabhupada. There's a lot of potency that comes with that. So these books are the law literature for mankind for the next 10,000 years. And we should become addicted to this Vedic system of understanding. And so if we do form the habit of reading Prabhupada's books, we will have a better chance to be able to transform our lives and transform our communities and transform whomever will come in contact with. Practically speaking, majority of us come to this movement through Prabhupada's books. I met devotees, got some books from them, I read the books, and I traced the temple. And I read more, and I gave up. I resigned from my job. I said, well, I want to help in this type of mission. So books are the basis. We need to have a deeper understanding. One of the purposes of the Krishna consciousness movement is to systematically distribute these books. And so when they say, well, I can't read, that's okay. If you can't read, listen to the tapes when you're in the kitchen. Why not? This gives us empowerment. So the culture of reading, we don't have the culture of reading. If someone is asked, their wristwatch, who has a wristwatch here? Who has a wristwatch? You tell me, what is written on that wristwatch? Tell me all the things that are written in that wristwatch on the surface. Don't look at it. It's been with you for how long?
2 years.
2 years. But you don't know what is written there. Because we don't have a culture of reading. We don't care. We could create spiritual. And he or she is thinking, no one knows, no one cares. You're making a great mistake. I tell you a story. Even the children in our movement, they watch their parents. You may think that they don't know anything, but they're hearing and they're reading. I tell you a story. In New York, we are right here at one time. And then there was this young boy. His mom is a devotee, his father is not. So, he's my friend, I've been encouraging him to chant. And I was rushing to go to use the restroom. So I left the parade, who's going to the park. Then he said, Omara, can I follow you? I said, why not? You're my friend, you can come. So he came. We were walking. And then at some point in time he said, Mara, can I ask you a question? I said, why not? You're my friend. Feel free to ask any question. He said, talking about, we think that our children, they don't know anything, or they're not reading, or they're not hearing. They're listening to talk, to lectures. So they're hearing. So don't make yourself a fool. This 12-year-old boy asked me, Maharaj, can someone be chanting japa and be watching TV at the same time? I said, oh, that's an offensive, that's offensive japa. You know his response? Someone can guess his response. Can someone guess what he said? Huh? Yeah. He said, but my parents do this all the time. Hearing gives you knowledge. Reading gives you knowledge that enables you to decipher between what is wrong and what is good. To be able to make a good to clarify. So if he was not listening to lectures, so the important thing is that we need to understand that when we read Prabhupada's books, we can create a better sense of discrimination in our own personal spiritual practices and the way we relate to the community and or how others relate to each other. Or how others function. For us, it's for our difference. But then we can't get the knowledge without listening to the lectures. Not everyone is so much elevated, not every one of us is so much elevated that, the knowledge just, comes from the soul. Boom. We need to ignite it. It's there, but we need to really set the pace for the ignition. And therefore, it is important that devotees practice, learn. I remember when we joined in the temple, there is 1 hour in the morning set aside for reading. We wake up at 3 o'clock, 4:30 there is Mangarati. And even when we wake up, there is 1 hour set aside for japa before Mangarati. And then after Mangarati, there is 1 hour set aside for reading. Then you can use it at that time to complete your japa. Why are you reading? Because you are preachers, you go and disseminate this knowledge. You need to know the content of what is the Prabhupada's books. And so we all should think of setting aside even a little time for reading or for listening to the lectures, so that we can equip ourselves properly, so that we can enhance our devotional information culture to be able to create a better spiritual change. Now, a number of people who don't care less, but it is important that we as preachers, we are not just members of some synagogue or some church or some temple. We are preachers, preaching Lord Chaitanya's mission. We need to be equipped with sufficient devotional information, and that information is embedded in Srila Prabhupada's books. So this is the period that we distribute many of Prabhupada's books. So we should endeavor to see how also we intensify our reading culture. So the whole point about what we could take home today is how to increase or how to enhance our reading culture. Why? Because that reading culture, intensified reading culture, enhances our purification. It expedites our devotional purification process, and it helps us to become better tools in spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, how many people here read every day? I read every day, even if it's just one line of the Vedic literature. Very few people. Now, how many people listen to lectures, either Prabhupada's lectures or your spiritual master's lectures every day? Again, few people. So we have to reignite that culture so that we don't just blame everyone else. When we have the knowledge, if someone says something, suppose all of you are well read in Prabhupada's books. If I say something that is ambiguous, you can put a blade of grass between your lips and say, I'm read. What he said, thank you very much for this wonderful lecture. What you said is so intriguing, it's so interesting. You say like this, you say like this. I would like to repeat this in some other place. Can I have a reference? But if you're not reading, if someone is making an ambiguous statement, you wouldn't care less. Oh yeah. So, any comments or questions?
Can I have a reference? In California, and then this devotee was giving the class, he was feeling very bad.
But, there are ways to be able to entice people to move on, and there are ways to motivate people to be able to become more precise and exact. Because sometimes also we carry Mayavadi stories to come and give in our temples. Oh yeah. It's not that everything you hear about Vedas is okay. Because even the Vedic literature, they are Vedic literature, the Vedas, they are like the Puranas, we have 6 Puranas in the mode of ignorance, for people in the mode of ignorance. Now if you start giving stories, instructions about the Puranas that are meant for the people in the mode of ignorance to, people who are trying to be Vaishnavas, you're not really motivating them. So we should know the boundaries. Reading, why not? Any comments or questions? Yes?
What would be your advice to an individual who struggles finding time or motivation to read?
Motivation or time to read? Yeah, I give you very specific things. Reading, chanting, service, association. They're so important. Association means theater, going to the temple, or going to the holy dam. Each time you go to Vrindavan or to Mayapur, you really feel so charged and become superlatively motivated in the devotional service. See, outside of the dam is like a warfare where every time you move out, you're being depleted. Each time you get close to somebody, there's a lot of subtle exchanges that goes on more than even the physical. So whether you like it or not, you're a professional, you are being depleted. Whether you like it or not, you're going to the mall to buy some things or even for window shopping, you are being depleted. Yeah, but it's a serious thing. There's so many subtle things that are going on that are causing us stagnation and demotivation. So to be able to remain motivated, we have to engage ourselves in doing proper sadhana, chanting, qualitative chanting. We have to look at to be able to get some service done. If you are coming to the temple and you don't have any service to do or service assigned to you, you better meet the temple management to get some service. Because if you don't do that, you are actually cheating yourself. You are going to be depleted so easily because you're not getting reinforcement. So the service is reinforcement. The chanting is spiritual reinforcement. Coming to the temple is another spiritual reinforcement. Because like I was mentioning earlier, while we value going to the theater or coming to the temple, in 1939, a German professor, he's called Lewin, he developed the field theory. Experiment, he came to the conclusion that the environment has an impact on us. And that is why it's not encouraging to go and just hang out in a brutal. Because whether I like it or not, that environment is very, very unethical, unideal. And if you hang out there, you're being depleted of your spiritual potentials and you get impacted on negatively by that lost environment. And before you know, you start acting out and you wonder, what is going on with me? All these years, I've been in this movement for 40 years, 30 years, 50 years. Why am I still feeling like this? Environment. And so, we want to remain motivated, we should come to the temple. We want to remain motivated, we should get some service to do. We want to remain motivated, we should get proper sangha, good association. If you meet somebody and he's just busy criticizing everybody else, be smart. Excuse me, Prabhu. Okay, can I get back to you later? I have a meeting, I understand now. Just be smart. Don't get embroiled in apparatus. Because that stagnates you, that demotivates you. We don't seem to know some of the effects of these things. So to remain motivated, yeah, there are some few things that we need to do. We should visit the temple, go to holy places, and you see a big difference. Read the books, And you will always find that your motivation is still renewed. Do some service, and you see that you're getting on, you're being inspired. Yeah. Don't make quarrels. Don't be a good guy. Don't be a good a lady who is very good to the Swamis, good to your guru, service everyone nicely, and you go back home and you're punching your spouse in the face. Or you're emotionally abusing your spouse. We should treat everyone as the way we will treat our guru. Oh yeah. You do this and you see that your motivation will be Parker all the time. You're teaching on here. You're not going to be offensive to anybody. Why are you talking about being offensive? Because when we hurt someone, when we hurt a devotee, or whether we know it or not, it does have an effect on us. It does have an effect on us. But then if we see everyone as our guru, and we treated them in that way, even including your family members, because it's so easy to preach, and it's so easy to hurt your family members. Charity, they say, begins at home, isn't it? Yeah, so if we want to be Parker, here's this word here, Parker. I think it's a common language in England. Then is this Parker pen. So if we say you want to remain Parker, means you want to remain on top. In your motivation, then there are simple things that we could really do. Chanting, service, good association, good conversation. Just check yourself. You don't talk anything that brings somebody else down. If you're talking to me about somebody, just remember what that person, if that person is there, can you say it? Can you say it? Oh yeah. Even our own children, they could become, our gurus. Our own children could become our gurus. And it's been happening. So, important thing is that we should be instrumental to spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu that Prabhupada has established for us. And today, basically, is about how to remain highly motivated simply by preaching, by being good readers of Prabhupada. Why? Because reading is puja. Reading the Bhagavad-gita is puja. Got it? Any other comments or questions? Yes.
This is a serious one. This isn't fully fermented, but I totally agree with you about studying the books and being able to reference things when speaking or preaching to people. And I've been in the movement for a long time. I've seen many classes and been with people preaching on the streets. And sometimes, this is not a cut to devotees, but I think it's very important to be very knowledgeable in the books, but connecting with individuals, especially when they're new or don't know anything about Krishna consciousness, connecting them on a personal level and sharing the love of God with them. I guess if you could speak to the idea of having reference to Scripture is wonderful and being able to back up what we speak with specifics to Scripture. But sometimes that can reach an esoteric point where we've crossed the line where we're expressing references to things that might be very important to us and spiritually speaking in our hearts, but it might not even be knowledgeable or anything that some could relate to someone. So the idea of being able to reference things, but being able to connect with people.
Yeah,
that I think.
That's a good point. In other words, a preacher should be, they should have the need of the audience at heart. If you meet somebody who just attracted to Krishna consciousness and you just start talking about Madhurya Ras, you're wasting his time and wasting your time. Oh yeah. Because you just want to show your erudition. I remember I remember a story. One of Prabhupada's disciples mentioned to me. I don't want to mention his name. So at that time, in those early days, so he was in college, he was doing a doctoral program, and he came to the temple with his fiancée. And newly converted devotees, or these new practitioners, they were so much, stressful about, the four principles. You don't eat meat, don't do this, no illicit sex, no gambling, and all these things. So he told me, when he came and the way they were just talking, he got like pissed off. Because they were not doing something really relevant to people there. It's just a show of, look, I'm greater than you. I'm greater than you because this is the standard I'm following. You're not following anything. You're just nonsense. Yeah, so he said, he just called his fiancée and then they left. But he understood, because he's a scholar, he understood that, some people are like that in religious traditions. He was studying religion at the time. So yeah, the point you raise is very important. Yeah, we should relate to people's problem and connect with people based on their needs. We should not just talk abstractly just for the sake of talking or just for the sake of creating a boundary or setting ourselves high up there and trying to minimize the other person. We should connect with people and help people to grow with our information culture, with our knowledge. So thank you guys.
I appreciate that very much. And I was the one follow-up. You said at the beginning, we should be able to preach to the person, read the person. I'm a musician, and as a musician, like sometimes you have to read the room and be able to play songs that people would, melodies people would appreciate. And it's a similar thing when preaching. You have to be able to connect with the person and read the person, and not just say, "Oh, I know this," and you don't know this.
That's a good point. Thank you. Same point here. Any other comments? You also wanted to ask? Yes.
Maharaj, for the people who just started Krishna consciousness, the person who just got motivated and to read Srila Prabhupada books, can you recommend any systematic approach or any order of books?
Every temple should have preachers who are cultivating new people. So there are all of these Prabhupada small books. They're very indeed. I remember when we joined, the first book I read was, Science of Reincarnation and Coming Back, something like that. And then this Science of Self-Realization for, especially, is a very nice book that answers so many questions, perfect answers. A number of these small Prabhupada books, they are meant to, bridge us to the Bhagavad-gita, because in these books, Prabhupada makes so much of references to the Bhagavad-gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam.
So better to start with small books?
Yeah. Of course, some people who are very knowledgeable, they could go to Srila Gita. But especially, I read small books. But then even just reading 2 small books, I got convinced, and I went to the temple and started going there and started participating. So the Prabhupada books are like revolutionary tools for redirecting a misdirected civilization. So we should take advantage. There are a number of these small books. We should really understand that there's a need for people to read the books and have the experience themselves. Preaching is good, but we should encourage people to read the books. Yeah. So Prabhupada ki
His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Swami.
dun.